BBS. BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.
REED-BBS. BBS. Joshua versus NGannou. Knockout chaos. Prediction video. We're past the grand arrivals and the open workouts. We had a somewhat lively for two men who keep it professional, keep it rather low key, who are more business in terms of getting in the ring. We had a pretty lively presser. Francis, he was I am thankful for the opportunity to fight AJ. I have not shocked you well. I don't think I have shocked you well. I am just happy for the opportunity. Tyson Fury was at the presser, tried to stir some shit up. Francis had words for him. You are lucky. Boxing rule, only thing that save you. Without boxing rule, you are nothing to me. Can't get under Francis's skin. And again, he says things so eloquently, so softly. For such a big, strong, hard-hitting man, he speaks so softly. But yet every damn word, every syllable is precise. It's precise. Now, they shook hands, both fighters, at the presser. But AJ has kept a mostly serious facade again. This started, I noticed it, when Robert Helenius was brought in at the 11th hour to replace Dillian White. AJ's been serious in the motherfucker. Then the next fight with Otto Wallin, very serious, borderline confrontational for AJ, which he's a gentleman. He's a jovial guy. He's a swell bloke. But yeah, he's a little more feisty. That has continued, not to the degree of throwing blows or the two fighters having to be separated, but AJ ain't having it. And to that point, Francis tried to get AJ to crack a smile or to lighten up a little bit at the weigh-in. They stared each other down. Then Francis kind of looks from side to side. AJ didn't budge. He kept it serious, again, as he did with Helenius and Wallin. Not as quick to smile, not as friendly, not as easygoing as we've seen AJ be in the past. The weigh-in, AJ was 252.5. NGannou 272.5. And 270-pound men, they don't typically look like that shirtless. Like, good God, Francis, like Jesus fucking Christ. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua, he's always an impressive specimen himself, but he's giving away 20 pounds here. It's strange. I would have to look up the weights, but it's not, I don't know that he's ever been 20 pounds lighter than an opponent. Prior to Fury and NGannou, I spoke of them 4-ounce fingerless gloves that Francis was used to, hindering him in a boxing ring with the 10-ounce gloves, with the full gloved hand. And it did not. As we saw, it took a single sweeping, looping left hand, which actually grazed Tyson Fury's shoulder first. And still, it dropped Fury right then and there. Boom! Right there on the seat of his pants. So I was wrong in thinking that Francis's power would not correlate to boxing, because it certainly did. His lack of boxing nuance, Francis's that is, that's what troubled Tyson Fury. It gave him problems. And being a natural counterpuncher, Fury relies on feints to open up his opponents, to get them to react, usually by throwing, in response to a feint. That's what the opponent would do when Fury feints at them, which then provides Fury with countering opportunities. That's when he gets those opportunities. Now, I don't know if Francis was unaware of what Fury was trying to do or unconcerned about Fury's ability to hurt him, but Francis never reacted to Fury's feints. And when Fury resorted to actual punches in lieu of feinted ones, Francis punched when Fury punched. And that's exactly what happened when Fury got dropped. Fury threw a punch right as Francis punched. Or Francis threw a punch right as Fury punched. He threw first, and as he threw, NGannou fired also. There's not much, if any, deception to Joshua's style. He's at his best as an attacker, letting his hands go, keeping his foe on the back foot versus the front foot or the good foot. So if Joshua keeps NGannou on his back foot for an appreciable amount of time, it's chutch. It is chutch for Francis. Francis can't fight going backwards. That much I'll say unequivocally and indubitably. Now, the $1 million question is what happens when. When. Not if, but when NGannou lands flush with that power. We're talking probably and certainly without question one of the hardest punchers in combat sports history. I mean, look at that knockout that knockout punch he landed on Overeem. Alistair Overeem is one of the most violent single shot knockouts you'll ever see. And if Francis, what happens if he lands flush? If he connects to that glass temple of AJ's, then damn. I mean, NGannou will have just arguably beaten the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and a former unified champion, perennial top 5 heavyweight in Anthony Joshua. But with that said, I think he's picked up the requisite recuperative abilities to weather Francis' storms. He might get hurt, wobbled, hell, dropped. But I think he's learned how to recuperate. You know, he had a few rough, tepid performances post Andy Ruiz, you know, on some Vlad Klitschko shit. He's learned how to hold. He's learned how to stick and move his way to safety and to a clear head before revolving back to his own offensive efforts. So, all that said, Joshua should win. Francis NGannou could win, but I'm betting on the shoulda, not the coulda, woulda. Give me AJ, though. I got AJ by KO round 5. It's going to be a barn burner. It's going to live up to the name Knockout Chaos. And Anthony Joshua wins. Anthony Joshua wins. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television, Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.